Okay, last day of the cruise. Overall thoughts. This is kind of a little bit of just pros, cons. Some people would find some of the pros to be cons, some would find the cons to be pros. It's kind of just more or less my overall feelings going off of being that I've cruised with Disney, Celebrity, Royal, and Princess, and now Margaritaville at sea on the Islander. Boarding, piece of cake. Very similar to everybody else, except for the fact that with everybody else, you actually take a picture of yourself and send it to them, where they will go and then put it on your embarking and disembarkation. They already have that. Here, they took a picture of you and stored it, and then took the money for incidentals. $200, which you should see at the end of the cruise, pending you don't have any problems where they needed to take that out. Just like a hotel, it's your incidentals. The sail away party, that was just sad. Now, to be honest, it is a smaller ship. It's not a small ship, but it's smaller compared to some of the mega ships that everybody else has. There were probably 10 guests participating in the sail away party. So compared to Disney, where everybody is out there, of course, granted, you have all the characters and the kids and everybody's participating. It's a huge ordeal. It definitely was not Disney. Princess, everybody's walking around with a drink in their hands, celebrating. Royal, same thing. They've got the band out there, and it's a big ordeal. Margaritaville had a DJ and the assistant cruise director guy out there, just like trying to get people to participate, and everybody was just kind of, that's it. Then they tried to do a Congo line. Probably about a dozen people were in line, and 4 of them were drunk, and I don't think they really knew what they were doing, but to each their own. Dining is one of those where it's an anytime dining. You just show up, they sit you at a table. You may or may not get the same person every single time. Their menu is mildly limited, but not in a bad way. But at the same time, most cruise ships will go and say, here's your everyday menu. You're gonna get your steak or your fish, or chicken, just the same things every single night. And then over here, you're gonna get a variety of new things that kind of go with the area you're in. This is just like 8 things with 4 appetizers, between like, I want to say like 6 to 8 main entrees, and then 3 desserts. 1 dessert is rotating every night. 1 is the same, like a pineapple dish. It, to be honest, tastes a little different. It was very dense. And then ice cream. Those are it. Other than that, take it or leave it. The food, to touch on that, was all very spot on. Out of all the cruise lines I've been on, I would say that the seasoning and the taste overall on Margaritaville was, I would say, a 9 out of 10. The only complaint I would have is just not enough to make a big deal about. But it's a 9 out of 10. I would say spot on, amazing. The crew, I would also say 9 out of 10. The reason that the 1 out of 10 wasn't there, why they didn't make the 10 out of 10, is because some of these crewmen are new. So when they see you, they're either too scared to say hi, or they just don't. But you can tell the people who have done this before, because they will go out of their way to say good morning, good afternoon, how are you, actually take the time to show that they care with a great big smile on their face. So 9 out of 10. Um, Going back to dining, also, one thing to point out: if you eat in the dining room, whether that's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you can have unlimited appetizers. You can have one entree, and then you can technically have as many desserts as you want. If you want more than one entree, it is a $7 additional charge. So beware of that. If you go and you say, I want to try the steak and I want to try now granted they don't have lobster, but let's just say you want the steak and the lobster. Any other cruise line that I've been on so far, and I hear NCL actually charges, I want to say $5, but everybody else, like, you go on a cruise to eat and sample everything that you wouldn't normally have outside of a cruise. So just heads up, I went for breakfast and I got the eggs Benedict, and then I wanted to get grits, bacon, hash browns, and an egg. Simple, right? Guess what? An egg is considered an entree. So one sunny side egg would have cost me $7. The rest were all sides, but that's it. So a little valid complaint there. One egg, $7, not worth it. The buffet, sometimes they don't have bacon. Actually, so far they've never had bacon. Their biscuits and gravy, their gravy was the same equivalent as juice. It had pulp to it, but that was it. It was water. It was disgusting. Now, granted, I didn't even try it, so I can't say it tasted disgusting. It just looked disgusting. Gravy's supposed to be thick and rich. This was quite the contrary. As far as their options on the buffet, very limited. I would say there's probably a total of 12 things on that buffet line total, and most of those are the same things you can get in the dining room. It's just all you can eat on the buffet line. So if in the event, again, you wanted steak and lobster, and let's just say that you only got one, you could go up to the buffet and you would have your steak and your lobster and all you can eat. Now, granted, they don't have lobster on the buffet. It's just an example. They had like a jambalaya, and they also had like fish the other night, and I'm just like, oh, I'm kind of torn. Well, guess what? I went upstairs. They were both there. So that's what I'm saying is they're there. So if you go to the dining room and you want to try one over the other, try one, and then there's a pretty darn good chance that upstairs at the buffet they'll have the other. Valid complaints that I don't really like about this ship that are valid. When you go to guest services, my voice kind of carries. It's a loud, boisterous voice. It can be heard from across the ship, and I'm just talking normal. The problem is, down at guest services, it is a stone's throw with your left arm on a, like, wind in your face. You can throw a rock and you can hit a musician who's playing volume 11 music. It is crazy loud. Now, granted, it's not bad. It's not bad music. It's not like painful, but when you're trying to talk to a little tiny Vietnamese woman with a whisper of a voice on the other side of the counter that is 4 feet away from you, she could hear me, but when she talks back, I have no clue what she's saying. And yeah, that was an actual situation, and I'm just like, okay, first off, I can't, even with your accent, it's very difficult. I'm really sorry. But with your whisper, there ain't no way I'm going to be able to hear her. But almost throughout every time I've been there to get services, to talk to them about, hey, just wondering about this, wondering about that, you can't hear them. Also, when you go to the pool, they have an indoor and an outdoor pool. The indoor pool, that music is insanely loud sometimes, or they'll do events in there and it's so loud you can't even talk. And then other times I'd be in the dining hall and the music would be quiet, and then all of a sudden it'd go from like 4 to 8. It would just like kick up super loud, and so it's just like kind of, well, there goes the dining atmosphere. It just, I don't know, it just didn't fit the mood. overall, is it worth it for the price? Food, absolutely. Destination, we just went to Cozumel, 2 at sea days, one port day. Got kind of a good deal. It was roughly like $350 per person, with a $50 per person onboard credit. So if you take the onboard credit out, it's roughly $300. That's after the taxes and everything. Tips were $142. So you're looking for $450, we'll just say. $450 for 4 nights. That's $112.50 a day. After taxes and everything, that's not bad. Royal, you can probably get away with doing the exact same thing for what it is. So cost wise, it's almost comparable. Is it worth it? If it's your first cruise, absolutely. I would say do it. That way, when you go to your next cruise, you can get a taste of other varieties of what's out there. But going from Royal, doing all the larger ships, going down to the smaller ships of Royal, you still get the same quality and atmosphere and everything that you get on, whether it's a smaller one or a larger one. It's the same. It's a little bit different when you're on a smaller ship that only has smaller ship things. They don't have a way to pull up anything on an app. You don't have a way to see what's going on unless you walk around with that piece of paper that's the daily events. If you walk around with that, you're fine. If not, take a picture of it. There's nothing on your phone. There's no signs anywhere on the ship. Like Royal, for instance, they have a giant TV that you can walk up and do what's going on for the day and how do I get there. They don't have that here. It's very simple. One of the last and final things I will say, yes, this ship is 24 years old. They just recently gave it a facelift just a few months ago. So technically, this is really a ship on Botox. They took some mold and just perked it up. But they were very selective with what they updated. For instance, they updated like the carpet, the walls, the flooring, the tile, the decorations, all of that. And then you walk into one of the little lounges. The chairs are shredded. They're just falling apart. And you can say, well, that's where. Not over 2 months, not this tile. It's a thick canvas, and it should not be shredded at the seams. Some of even like the chair I'm sitting across from, that thing's beat up. If you're gonna do it across the board. Don't pick and choose and say, well, we're not going to fix up the chairs, because when somebody comes on to a new, bright, lively ship, you don't want to sit on a chair that has stains, literally stains like all over it. And you don't want to sit in a chair that's fallen apart because it just looks and feels dirty, like you need to take a shower afterwards. So with that being said, that's a valid complaint. All in all, was it worth it? Yes. Would I be doing it again if I was to get the same type of discount deal type thing? I probably would. But if you would say, hey, Margaritaville over here, Royal over there, which would you choose? Hands down, Royal. Why? Because I've been there, done that, and I'm a huge fan of Royal. I also cruised Princess, loved Princess. Disney, it's a little expensive, but yet I did it twice. Would I do it again? If I got a very good deal, sure. But all in all, very pleased with Margaritaville. And if it is your first cruise, give them a shot. If you've cruised before, at least go for getting out of the house and taking a short little 4-day or 5-day 4-night cruise. So there's my opinion. If you've cruised Margaritaville before, in the comments, tell me what you thought. If you want to, go on them. Give it a shot. Ask any questions in the comments. Be more than happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. We'll see you later.